Greetings guys, Jay Smith here. Welcome to the JPX923 Hot Metal Pro, that one, against the Mizuno Pro 225. So this was on my list of stuff to do, but because I had so many comments asking for it, that's gone a little bit up the old list to do. So I'm going to do it now. Let's go JPX923 Hot Metal Pro first. Now, why have I had so many requests for the Hot Metal Pro 225 comparison? I think Hot Metal Pro 225, you're possibly looking at the closest match within the JPX and Mizuno range, whether it be blending. I'm not quite sure if you want to go from like an MP Mizuno Pro to a JPX within the same set, not sure. But if you're deciding which ones to have, whether you should go to the more helpful 225 or the most helpful of all of the Mizuno Pros, the 225, or go uber help in the JPX, but still want some looks. That's the idea. So let's do the JPX923 Hot Metal Pro first. If you look at this one, these are still cranked lofts. Yes, they are. They're all fairly cranked when it comes to that. 28.5 degrees for a 7 iron is fairly strong. It is half a degree difference to the last one, so half a degree whoopee-doo. And then when you're looking at the Mizuno Pro, that's 30 degrees. But out of all of them, this is the one that looks the nicest visually. So if you're someone who wants to try and have a golf club with a certain amount of aesthetics, so thin top lines and all that lot, the standard JPX Hot Metal's possibly not going to be your thing. In come though the Hot Metal Pro. Down by the golf ball, this Hot Metal Pro has hardly any offset. I mean, that's a player's amount of offset if I ever did see it. When it comes to the top line, you can hardly anything really. And considering you've got this little chrome bit at the back, it makes the small-ish amount of offset top line look much thinner, which is good if that's what you want. I mean, again, that's what you want to look at. You want something which looks clean. Blade lengths, again, aren't big whatsoever. They're not overly massive. And then sole thicknesses are fairly small as well. So that ticks the boxes when it comes to looks. When it comes to the tech, it's still got the 360 cup face. It's still got the power frame, or I think it's called V chassis now, but very similar to the one before, tuned up a little bit, we'll call it. The big song and dance definitely this year when it comes to the new 923 is what they've made it from. We had chromoly and we've had different iterations of chromoly. Now we have nickel chromoly, chromaloy, depends where you are in the world. Having that nickel in there, the engineers are saying it makes the head 35% stronger, which then means they can make the face 8% thinner, which more ball speeds and all that, lower further back CG to help launch and blah da 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 da. That's the whole idea. But the encouraging thing that I have found when it comes to the normal hot metals, the high launch is a different beast, and if you swing slow, guys, again, I'm going to put something up on there so you can actually have a look at that one, because high launch when it comes to slow swingers, possibly, yeah, go and have a look at that one. But when it comes to these, the biggest thing that I would like out of the 923 is how it feels. When I say feels, I mean it sounds, because feel and sound and, oh yeah, that idea. They have done quite a bit of work underneath the bits where you can't really see to try and make this, the impact sound deader, duller, not so explosive, not so cracky, that kind of idea. Mizuno, they do want to keep the old noise at bay, and the JPX being the battering ram of the range can get a bit noisy sometimes, but these are pleasantly nice. All face open. Yeah, 2 degrees, 1.9. But that's that going that way because of me, not because of the golf club. The sound on these ones are distinctly different. There's no crack to it. It's a thud. It's a dull punch. So these are actually quite nice to hit. The only thing I would love to have done is, these are media samples. I would love to have had these bent because my lie angle is not right. Hence the reason it's going right more than I would like it to. I mean, that's gone 12 yards right. For me, that's a miss. But there's a pattern of me hitting out to the right a little bit when it comes to not being fully warmed up with these, because the lie angle will dictate that. That face was 1.2 degrees open, but the lie off was off by 3.7. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to this, I've got this in the KBS Tour 120 stiff, decaled, no decal at all, gone. So it was guesswork to start with, so I found out what it was. And generally speaking, I'm not really shaft sensitive, so we're not talking huge amounts of deflection causing that. It just needs, I'm normally a couple of degrees upright, so let's see if we can get the lie a little bit low on this one. That's a bit better. Pour a strike, because I'm funking delivery a little bit. Cool, that's still going 180 yards out there nearly, and I didn't hit it well. What was that? That was 5mm low, 13mm toe. But yeah, I'll put that delivery on there. 0, 0, 0, 0. Path was 0, face was 0, and lie was only 1 down. So there we go. That's much better. So I can, yeah, change if I need to, but I'd rather get them bent. So let's go over to the 225 and compare these, what it looks like, and then also, more importantly, how it feels, and then discuss when it comes to the number side, which one you should try. Back now with the Mizuno PRO 225. Differences in loft, first of all, between these two before we get into the looks. Oh, putt. Was the JPX923 Hot Metal series, apart from the high launch, has got 28.5 degrees for a 7-iron. I'm only going to be testing the 7-irons on these, because if not, we'd be all day hitting every single club in the bag. And you want to try as best you can do to compare apples to apples. So 30 degrees of loft on this one, so 1.5 degrees loft difference. That is it, 1.5 degrees. These are quite strong for MPs. Mizuno Pro, sorry, yeah. Which does mean that these go further, which also does mean that sometimes when it comes to gapping, the Mizuno Pro range, you have to be a bit bright on how you look at certain different things. And I will do a video very, very soon about the difference between, or a gapping idea when it comes to the Mizuno Pro series. But, so, 30 degrees of loft, so we are a little bit weaker. 1.5 degrees. Again, that was a KBS Tour 120 stiff. I've got this Project X IO 5.5. So slight difference in the shaft, but guys, if you know me and you have been around for ages, I'm not generally, when I say generally, Modus 115S was the only shaft I've ever found to absolutely screw me over. I'm not normally shaft sensitive, so it doesn't really matter. But these heads have been bent, custom fitted for me, so hopefully the lie will be better. When it comes down to the pure looks between this and the Hot Metal Pro, offset, it's near on identical. If I go get the old Hot Metal Pro here, I mean, it is near on identical. If I get the exact specifications, I'll stick it on the screen for you. When it comes to the head length, it is marginal at best. If not, I cannot really see a difference. Top lines, again, I would say the fact that you haven't got a chromed area on the back of the 225 where you have on the Hot Metal Pro means that if anything, there is indistinguishable between the two. I can't really see any visual difference in top line. And then soles, yeah, the 225 does it. When it comes to the sole thickness, 225 does it. So technology in this one, we've got the copper underlay, which is lovely, because obviously between MP18 and MP20, the copper underlay was installed, added, whatever you want to use, to the range, because the MP18, if anything, they were just a little bit higher pitch because they went to a high density definition kind of forging. Yeah, I don't want to bore your sensors with that. Anyway, with the copper, it has got tungsten in it, it has got grain flow forged chromoly in it, what without nickel. I'm going to say it now. I'm going to put out there that the new Mizuno Pro range, whenever that's going to be released next year, year after, whenever it will be, I reckon there's going to be nickel in it. I'm saying that now. I'm putting out, that's my prediction. Do I win anything if I'm right? No, probably not. But you have got a graduation when it comes to the technology in this one, because you've got tungsten and you've got hollow bodies, then going into not so hollow bodies in the 8-iron, I think it is, and then the 9 gap wedge, you haven't got hollow bodies, and you've got grain flow 1025E because of the lofting. As the loft goes and deflection changes, you need to have differences in technology. If not, gapping goes awry. There you go. Right, let's give it a hit. See what the difference is between this and a Hot Metal Pro when it comes to feel. That was a slightly toey strike. 0-0 delivery, but toey strike. Well, I wouldn't say 0-0, not quite 0, 0 point something, but yeah. Toey, you can feel it. The biggest difference, I think, straight away when I go to a 225 is the feel, the feedback. And the actual feel between this and a 923 is fairly, and I will say this, it's fairly close. It really is fairly close. The biggest difference I have on here is the feedback I get from strike. I can feel where I'm hitting it far more with a Mizuno Pro than I can the JPX. Whether that has to do with the amount of technology in a JPX923 and the raw nature of it, I don't know. But all it is, this sounds fairly similar, but the feedback I get, I can feel where it is on the face just a bit better. Same thing again, slightly toey. After using the JPX with the lie angles aren't quite right, I'm getting these ones going a little bit left. I'm glad I didn't do these ones first, because with the lie angles of the JPX, that would have gone so far right. Yeah, slightly toey and slightly closed. But again, the feeling is there. I wouldn't say there's much difference in it. You'd argue this feels a touch softer, but I mean, that is shot to shot to shot. So they're basically the same. It's just the difference I can feel the feedback of where I'm hitting it more on a 225. Slightly open, slightly better strike. That's why I've got slightly a little more cuddy. But remember, guys, there shouldn't be a massive difference in distance. I need some warming up yet. I'll do that as I'm hitting more and more and more. Yeah, slightly closer. Well, 6mm hill, 7mm low. But again, when it comes to looks, nigh on identical between that and the Hot Metal Pro. When it comes to feel, yeah, not much in it, to a point of where I can't feel any difference whatsoever. There is difference in looks. Obviously, this one is very much more blade-like in its looking, because it is just like a fat blade. As in, if you were to take the shaft out and put like a airline in there and blow it out a little bit, that's what the 225 looks like compared to a 221. And the fact that it's not been polished, although I do wonder what these would look like polished. If someone wants to go and get on, you know, Facebook forums, love that, don't they? So get them polished, see what you think. Last one, and then we go to the numbers and see how they do. And that is left. That's just a bullet left. Yeah, there you go. That was me. My alignment was wrong there. A couple of degrees across because I was just aligning left. Face was 0. Path was 1.5, 2 degrees across. That's why it started 2 degrees left and just stayed 2 degrees left. Right, so learn how to aim, Jay. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go hit these a bunch of times. I'm going to have to turn the old camera off and then go get hot and hitting these bang, 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 bang to see what differences there are in distance, etc. Because there will be a slight difference in how far these go. There might be a difference in obviously peak heights and stuff depending on where CGs are in the head, but it would also be very interesting to see when I miss-hit these, and I'm going to do some for fun, because hitting 3mm toe, 4mm low, that doesn't really show you how well these perform when amateurs hit them, because amateurs, generally speaking, you use more of the face than you really should do, or that's the whole idea of having JPX irons. But it'll be interesting to see what happens when you misstrike these, and just so looking at those, you can compare then which ones you should go for depending if you know your strike pattern or not. So guys, after hitting a lot of shots with the JPX923 Hot Metal Pro and the Mizuno Pro 225, this is the fun bit of the video where we'll have a look at all the numbers and have a look at how forgiving one is compared to the other. So if you hit a certain shot, strike, etc., then you can see if one may or may not work for you more than the other. Anyway, so let's go do the JPX923 Hot Metal Pro first. I've hit a load of shots there, so ball speeds on average 126.3, launching at 17.9, spinning up at 5.5, and a baby little cut, yeah, tiny little thing, descending angle at 48.1, and that means peaking height at 37 yards and 3.4 yards offline on average. 183 yards, yeah, carry. Now you can see by the numbers there I've moved around quite a little bit. You could say my longest there was what, 192 carry. Oof. and then down at 176, I think it was 170 at the top there, because I'm hitting different misses, and we'll go into the misses later, but this is an average, remember. So if I was to not miss-hit as many times to try and test it off different parts of the face, the average would be up. But again, yeah, that's what you do. So if we go to the Clubhead day to see how fast I was swinging all that lot, it was 93.6 miles an hour, efficiency 1.35, 3.1 down, 0.3 from the inside, 0.8 open, so tiny little baby fades, accentuated by the fact that I've got a lie of 3.7 down. Remember, guys, these are not unfortunately custom fit, these media samples, they're just standard. I'm normally 2 degrees, so 1 degree or so. Loft is 24 degrees, and when we look at the strike average location, it is 11 mil toe, 1 mil low. 11 mil toe is quite a bit to be offline when it comes to, but you'll be able to see when we look at all the forgiveness side of things, some of the places that I've tried to hit this from to see how well it does, which is kind of screwing the figures a little bit. If I'd have been more zero, and there are obviously shots out there you can see, and already when it comes to the ball data side, that I'm hitting it much higher than the 183, is closer to the like 188, 189, 190 kind of carry number. These JPX923s are rocket ships. Let's compare that one straight away over to the Mizuno PRO 225, see how well that does. 123.7 miles an hour when it comes to average ball speed, 18.9 launch, tiny little baby fades again, it's tiny. 5.3 spin, so very similar to the other one. 48.1 degrees descent angle, 37 yards in the air, and 179. So yes, we're down, but we're not down as much as what you'd think possibly with all the tech in there. But bear in mind, when it comes to the JPX923, how on average poorly I was hitting it. And yeah, we'll get into that. So if you look at the Clubhead speed, 93 miles an hour, 92.6, 1.34 efficiency, so slightly less, even though on average my strike was better. So you can see the difference there with the JPX923 being a bit more forgiving. 2.7 down, 0.4 from the inside, 0.5 open, 0 delivery. But look at that lie, lovely, 0.6. Now of course I deviate a little bit, moving up and down, especially hitting different shots. But yeah, I'm lie 0 and 25.7 on the loft. But face impact on average is 1 mil toe, 7 mil low. So on average, I am hitting, as a group, the 225 better, and then the JPX much more average toey. Now, whether that's just because basically you're hitting normal shots out the middle, and then when you deviate for different kind of shots because you want to test the toe and heel and all that lot, if I was just hitting more toe shots on testing than the 225, which skews with the numbers, but you'll be able to see there that even though you've got a difference of 4 yards, and you've got 1.5 degree loft difference, you could say, well, that's working bang on exactly what you'd expect with a loft, give or take. But I'm hitting the JPX923 Hot Metal Pro distinctly worse. And you can see when you hit them fairly well, then the difference starts to jump a little bit. And we 192 carries. Yeah, I mean, I think what's the longest one I hit? 186 ripped. But 184, 183 is possible normals, 182 is possibly a normalised average. But there you go. So you've got, I would say you've probably got 8 yards of difference in carry between them, and there's only 1.5 degrees of loft. And that's just down to the new JPX's nickel chromoly and the face tech behind it. Again, saying here first, nickel chromoly in the next 225. Just give Mizuno an idea. But let's have a little look at the miss hits. So I did some nice miss hits, and we'll go to the Hot Metal Pro first. This one, I've got 0 path, literally 0.0, and face open by 1.1, so baby little fade. And I hit that 10 mil low, 12 mil heel. Now, generally speaking, golf clubs do not like low heel. Unfortunately, the JPX923 is no exception. Carry of 167, so it has dropped down quite a bit. I'm trying to find the limits of these golf clubs, and I think we've found low heel is the limit of a JPX923 Hot Metal series. It does not like being hit half an inch and half an inch in the wrong direction. But if we go to the next one, Very similar delivery, 0.4 from the inside, 0.9 closed. 4mm low, 10mm heel, so only 2mm away better from the heel. But rather than going 10mm low, I'm going 4mm low, so I'm going much closer to the effective middle vertically. And then it's changed completely. So carry of 180. Now the difference between that one is quite a bit. It's 13 yards. And does 4mm really, or 6mm make that much difference? Yes, it does. There is always a point of the precipice of a golf club just falls off the edge, and I think we found it when it comes to the JPX. If you're going to hit it low heel, like any golf club, yeah. But from 4mm low and 10mm heel, and only being 3 yards or so, 3-4 yards away from average, very, very good. Last one before we go to the 225, done off the toe. 3mm high, 14mm toe with a 1 from the inside, 0.4 open, very bland delivery. 14mm toe. It's gone carried 190. Woof. 4.6 yards offline at 190 is blooming good off a 14mm toe. That V chassis in that JPX923 is not only blooming amazing from the toe, but it works quite well out the heel as well. Just don't go low heel. No golf club likes low heel, but this one is doing exceptionally well. Right, let's go to the 225 and show you the difference or not on this. This one will be an interesting one. Let's do this one first. 0.1 from the inside, 2.3 open. So this is a fade. That's me. I delivered the face 2.3 open, so it will go right. It's carried 173 yards, but I hit 13mm low, 13mm heel. Now remember, this is different to the JPX923. The JPX923 has got that power frame V chassis, which is very much so protecting of toe hits, and it loves toe hits, and it doesn't mind middled heel hits. Not low, definitely not low. But because the 225 has got tungsten lumps in it and low tungsten lumps, this is 13 low, 13 heel. And you can see by the graphic there, that is quite low. And that's carried 173, which is distinctly better than the JPX. The difference in technology, difference in head technology, I get it, yes it is, but depending on where you strike it, that done very well considering. Let's go to the next one. 0.3 from the inside, 0.2 open, again 0-0 delivery, very bland. 174 carry, but 17mm low, 4mm heel. Now it definitely has only launched at 13 degrees and is going to go into the green. I think it was 39 degrees, I think off the top of my head. And it would have to be a soft green to stop. But the fact that that's still done 174 carry off of that strike is a testament to that tungsten in the 225. Very, very good. And last one we've got here, we've got 1.4 from the inside, 2.5 close, so little baby draw, but look at that strike for 170 carry. 14 low, 21 toe. That is literally just on the parts where you have lines on the face. And that did exceptionally well. That's gone 8.4 yards offline because it was a little baby draw, so slightly overdraw. But to carry 170 from there, wow. So we are testing the absolute limits of these golf clubs here. And yes, we found low heel. No golf club loves low heel or likes low heel. But if you can keep a JPX middle heel, absolutely fine. And no different when it comes to the 225 because of that tungsten in it. This is obviously it's the Mizuno Pro range. It's the MP range. So generally you have to hit them quite well. If you were going for 221s, you will not be able to get away with these. But because of the face tech within the 225s, you can get away with some rumbled strikes. So to basically conclude between the differences between them, there is a cost difference between them. Yes, there will be. One looks more like a fat blade, one much looks like a game improvement iron, but with the Mizuno Pro, you do have the better line. So it does look like more of a player's golf club, where the 225 looks like a decent player's golf club to start with. I can honestly see people blend between 221 and 225, but you do have to be a little bit more intelligent at how you change the loftings around, or again I'll do another specific video on how you can get away and around that lofting difference blended properly. But But if you're someone who moves around the face, you can go either way when it comes to 225 or the Hot Metal Pro. The 225 does exceptionally well considering what class it's in. But the JPX923 Hot Metal Pro would be my favourite when it comes to ultimate forgiveness, distance, looks, as long as you don't mind looking at a game improvement iron. If you want more of a bladed idea, then obviously 225, and you can see by the miss it's there, it does exceptionally well. So anyway, comment below what you'd like me to put these ones up against. I'm going to do some more comparisons. I might go get the G425 and stick it up against the Hot Metal next. That might be a fun one. Hope you liked it. If you did, there's a little thumbs up down there. Click that one if you may. Thank you very kindly. And next to that, there's a subscribe button. If you can click that one, that'd be great because it's all free. And next to it, there's a little bell icon. If you click that one, that'll let you know next time I upload another video. So I hope you're well, and we'll see you again soon.